Hello. This website introduction is an overview of Skiplagged. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it before, but this was a new site for me. Someone I know recommended it, and I've used it several times to research and book my flights. So first, let me explain what Skiplagged does. Now, when you enter in your dates and your departure and arrival airports, this website analyzes all of the flight patterns that leave your departure airport and either fly to or through your arrival airport. Now, this might sound a little confusing, so first let me show you what I mean. So say you wanted to leave from New York and you wanted to get to San Francisco. Well, any other, airline or other kind of search would show you all the flights from A to B. But what Skiplagged does is it shows you A to B, but it also shows you A to C. Now, this flight here from New York to San Francisco normally would be $300. But because Skiplagged shows you if you leave from New York and you actually book your flight to Seattle, which is up here, and your layover is in San Francisco, your flight would actually be cheaper and you could get it for $170. So instead of booking directly from New York to San Francisco, you would actually book your ticket from New York to Seattle, and when you get to San Francisco for your layover, you would just get off the plane and not catch your connecting flight to Seattle. Now, I know this sounds a little unorthodox, but let me tell you that it is perfectly legal. It just might be a little frowned upon by the airlines. So going to the website, it's skiplagged.com, and it's kind of like any other site that you would use that we've kind of gone over. You're going to choose your departure airport, which is going to be Charlotte, North Carolina, and to go to anywhere, we're going to try to go to, let's go to Boston. And then the thing with this site is because they frown upon it, it's best to book 2 one-way tickets as opposed to a round trip, because a lot of times if you don't make your connecting flight and you have a round trip ticket, the airline can cancel the second part of your return flight home, and we definitely don't want that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it just as a one-way. So I'm going to pick a date. July 1st is a little close, and it's also a holiday weekend, so it might be a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to choose Tuesday the 25th. And then I'm going to search for flights. Okay, so now what this is doing is it's analyzing all of the flights from Charlotte to or through Boston. So as you can see, the first one right here is showing Charlotte leaving, it's American Airlines, leaving at 7:49 in the morning, arriving in Boston at 10, and then over here it's grayed out, but you could see that there's more to this flight, and this means that it's actually a connecting flight. So technically you would be leaving Boston and going to LaGuardia in New York, so this is a layover. But since you're not actually going to LaGuardia, you would just get off in Boston. But when you book your flight, you would book it from Charlotte to LaGuardia and just make sure that the connecting flight is in Boston. And you can actually see the difference. So this here is a flight from Charlotte to LaGuardia for $84 one way. If you skip down, you can see that a direct flight, because there's nothing after it, from Charlotte to Boston, it's the same exact flight if you look at it. It's the same times, same arrivals and everything. It's actually $118. So you're paying more money for a direct flight than you would be if you were to pay for a layover. So this is another site that could be very useful. It can be a little tricky, and you definitely need to get familiar with it and kind of, use it a lot and kind of see what's out there. It might not be ideal for certain situations. Sometimes it's just cheaper to go with another site, or just this, in the case that this was the same price as this, then I guess it would just make more sense to do this. But in this case, it's actually cheaper. So you'd be saving yourself a little bit of money. And then once you would book your one flight. So now let's just say we're going to go ahead and click on it. So now basically what you're telling it to do is you're saying this is the flight that I want and everything's going to happen. Now this is all grayed out here because it's part of the flight, but you're not actually going to be utilizing that part of your flight. So if I go to book now, it's actually going to have me go to American, and it's called a hidden city. So basically also another tip is that you don't want to ever check your bags if you're doing that, because if you were to check your bags when you get to Charlotte, your bags are going to end up in LaGuardia because they don't stop at the layover city. You know, they continue on and then you meet your bags there. So definitely don't do that. And then don't put your frequent flyer account on it because you are technically not, you know, they frown upon it. You know, they might give you some hard time if they know that you're a frequent flyer and you're going to be doing this. So, yeah, so there's that. So you're going to go ahead and hit got it. And then it's going to give you instructions. So now Skiplagged, you don't actually book through. You're just going to follow what the directions say. Basically, it's telling you, okay, go to this tab, this here, which is American Airlines, and then you're going to try to find the same, it's going to give you the flight number. So try to go and find the flight from Charlotte to LaGuardia with the layover in Boston, and then you're going to go ahead and book that flight. So yeah, so it's a little different, but it definitely gets the job done, and it's always good to check just in case there is a cheaper flight. If you're going from a big airport like Charlotte to a big airport like JFK, you know, there might not be a better price on this, but if it's a smaller airport, you might be better off because there might be a layover there, so you might be able to get a little bit better of the deal. So I hope this was helpful.